What percentage of men are in jail?
Oh, it's a very low percentage.
My thing is, I think more men are worse than more women, but that does not make the majority of men.
That's a sexist
that
statement.
Does not make
Wait,
not worse.
Men,
I think less. You're taking.
You're saying there's more worse men than there are worse women.
More men have done SA, have done murders, have done rapes compared to women.
Right.
It's statistically proven. I don't know the statistics off the top of my head, but that does not mean that I think that the majority of men are evil, disgusting creatures.
This is an apex fallacy. First of all, criminality is a very, very small proportion of the population.
That actually do wrong,
so to say that I'm going to have this sort of blanket assessment of men due to a small proportion of some men's criminality, you're attributing to the group the actions of a small fraction.
This would be the same argument towards racism. So that would be the same argument you would make in reverse for racism. Yeah, sure. So if you were to say, okay, a small percentage of the population, which happens to be this race, conducts X amount of crimes, you would immediately look for ulterior reasons why they were criminals absent the race, right?
Okay.
But how come you won't do that when it comes to men, right?
Okay. No, that's a good argument.
Yeah, wouldn't that be this? It's the same thing in reverse, isn't it?
I think on that one too. You're coming back with some good arguments, I'll say.
It's so sad that you feel scared by 30% of the men. This is so sad. And actually, the better question is like why the young woman feels like that? Why she scares of the 30% of the men?
Because they've been indoctrinated and brainwashed.
Sure.
Or maybe
Because
it's
we've
happened
been-
before.
Yeah, maybe it's happened.
Like personally,
To you?
like
yes.
yeah, family.
This is a good question.
Yeah,
know,
but if-
guys.
if
we
you
don't
had-
want to be scared of you.
Even
We
if
don't
it,
want.
even if it were to have happened to everybody here
We
at the
want to
table.
love each other.
Hang on. Even if it were to have happened to everybody at this table, that every woman here was in some way assaulted by a man in a sexual way, and none of the men here were ever sexually assaulted by a woman in any way, that would mean nothing.
How?
That we would
That's
not
not just
be.
coincidence.
We
That,
would not be able to. How would you ever extrapolate that into anything?
so it's
from
just
this
coincidence that if all the women here were SA'd, that they were just happened to be here at the same time, and all of the
anecdotal.
men that hadn't were here as well.
Well, I mean, okay. Well, let's think about it for a second, right? There's more women here than there are men, right?
Yeah,
Okay. Why is that? Is there a reason for it?
Because you want to argue with us,
Well,
so that men in the comments can see we're disgusting.
Whatever the reason is, right? There's definitely reasons behind why that is the case, right?
So you're saying if all of us were SA'd, we're
Like you wouldn't
here
just say
because-
you're all here coincidentally. And I wouldn't just say all the men are here coincidentally.
So
Like
we're
there
here
was
because we're
mechanisms.
delusional is
well,
what you're
there's
saying.
no. I'm saying there's mechanisms which moved us all into place, right?
But what does that have
And
to
so
do
the
with
question is like even if all of this had happened, right? It doesn't give us a tell as to the mechanism for why it happened. Right? Could be with this particular sample size, for instance, that because you're all around the same age group, you're more prone and in a propensity to be in situations where such a thing does happen. Whereas we could get the same exact group of women from a different demographic.
Yeah, he speaks
then they
about
have,
our job.
And they have absolutely none of those things, right? So you can't really just kind of say, well, even if it had happened to everybody here, that we could extrapolate that out to mean something meaningful.
It's because we are beautiful and because we are whores. Yeah, that's
no, I'm not.
probably.
I'm not. I'm not.
I mean, like.
But something you're
Poor
not talking
attitude.
about is that men are essayed by women too, and there's a very high percentage of that.
Yes, there is.
So like when we're
far more than
generalizing,
is ever talked about. Yeah.
like if we're generalizing each gender and just saying, basically you guys are saying women have it worse. Like that is what I'm hearing. And yeah, women have it bad, but so do men. And men are more likely to, because that things aren't spoken about, and it is so highly, it happens so much with men, and it's just not spoken about. And it's just passed over like it's nothing.
Well, that's certainly a fair point. But did you get an answer on this, or?
Well, no, not really. I was just saying, so, but this just from my brain, right, is like, if you say, well, could this all just be coincidence that all of us here, yeah, it could, right? Because there's going to be mechanisms which drive things. And so that's why when we do sample sizes, you pull them from different demographics, different backgrounds, different, you know what I mean? That way you can draw commonalities so that you can extract data correctly. Like just, a few women sitting at a table who say, this is my experience, even if all the experiences map up, it doesn't actually tell us anything.
I do want to ask a question.
How could it? Like you could agree that I could set out that even if this bad thing had happened to every single woman here, that we could take a completely different, even random sample size from the street and put the same exact women here, and it's more than possible that nothing ever happened to any of them.
I wouldn't say
Yeah,
it's
of
more than
course.
possible.
Yeah, it's not?
I
Yes,
wouldn't
it's
say
possible.
it's more than possible.
Why?
I mean, I don't know. It's just.
Why is it not more? Why? I'm sorry. What in the world would make that not possible?
Can I like get
possible.
my phone and do a fact check? Because I've seen somewhere a statistic that says like it's over half of women that have been essayed or whatever. By
Even if that's true, let's say it was 90%. You could still draw randomly from the street, get a same
Right.
9 sample, and still not one of those women had ever been essayed.
okay.
Right?
Yes.
So we can't, so that's why I'm saying you can't draw like kind of those conclusions when you say, is that just a coincidence? Well, yeah, it could be. It could literally just be a coincidence, of course.
Okay.
You can have fears
I don't
from
know.
personal
Wait.
experience. She wasn't arguing that.
I do
No,
think-
she was. She said, is that just a coincidence?
I don't
What's that,
think.
is that just a, what does that mean? What is that just a
So you're
coincidence?
like, you're nitpicking on little words.
No, it's not a nitpick.
Yes.
How is it a nitpick?
She just said like that, and you just catch it. So
Yeah, you catch that one thing.
Yeah.
Oh, damn, that bastard!
Yeah,
Like,
there's much
hold
more
on, do you
interesting,
realize
and
that
you catch this.
people's thought patterns, the way that they think, and the way that they discuss things,
Yeah.
they hinge on pillars, and pillars are usually assumptions, right? They hinge on assumptions. So yes, I lock in on the hinge, the pillar that holds the idea up.
Wait. I'm sorry.
you?
I have to interrupt this. I don't like to let certain things just slide. What was the stat that you just quoted?
Well, I asked if I could pull it up. I don't have that.
But
off the top of my head.
you said you think it's over 50% of women.
You can't-
I think I
have
know
been-
the stat she's referring to. It's like at colleges they say over 50% of women
Well,
have
no,
been
while
sexually
we have
assaulted.
her-
But then when you look into it, it's like
Why don't you tell us what you heard?
I told you I don't have it off the top of my head. I'd have to
What
look
do you-
it up. But it's
what do you
something
think
about
it
like
is?
half or more than half of women
Have been what?
essayed or raped or
What? So when you say essay, what does that include?
anything unconsensual that is where they've been touched without that.
So if a man were to tap-
What do you mean? What is that?
If a man were to tap a woman on the shoulder, is that essay?
No.
It's
Not
unconsensual.
sexual.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's
Well,
Yeah, like
yeah, about
There's a
sexual
difference.
touching.
I have a question.
Sexual touching without consent,
Yes.
and much of that can be
it
perception.
could be harassment.
Well, hang on, but much of that could be perception. So, like, let me give you an example. If a guy's sitting at a party, he's drinking, a woman walks over and just like randomly starts rubbing his shoulders, right? I've seen this many times. Nobody says shit, right? However, that's definitely sexual touching. He definitely hasn't consented to it. It's just nobody gives a shit. Let's switch it. Woman sitting at a party, right? Doesn't know the guy. He walks over and just starts rubbing her shoulders. Do you think that would become problematic?
I think it's odd, but I personally, if some guy did that to me, I'd just be like, what? Like, I don't know. I wouldn't- to me, that wouldn't
But
be
if
like
a woman,
scarring.
sure. But if a woman said, "Okay, wait a second, that was sexual touching without my consent," would you agree with her?
I wouldn't agree with her, but I wouldn't look her in the face and say,
You wouldn't say no, right? You wouldn't
would.
say no. And so that's the distinction that's being talked about here is that, wait a second. The reason we clarify these terms and we want them specific is because it's very clear to me that when women in an unwanted way touch men, just nobody gives a shit. They just don't care.
no, I
And the
agree with you. I
assumption-
think
yeah,
that,
yeah.
I'm not trying to minimize the amount of essay that men experience. Like,
Yeah, right. But this way the classification matters because I'm not sure I would consider that SA, right?
no, I mean, I agree with you.
Yeah,
I'm just
right.
saying I'm not trying to minimize.
But you realize
what
how
men feel
many
with that.
of these kind of like tortured studies and stats that you would look at where the assumption of SA is that they would consider those categories even though they maybe don't belong there.
even worse, like wolf whistling is. In some
And if
cases
I
counted
will
as well.
touch you now when we will go to smoke a cigarette, this is called as S or
You realize so when you went back there to smoke a cigarette, did you note that I took a wide path, went all the way around you, never went anywhere near you, and came in just to avoid such a thing from even happening?
No, I didn't say.
I know you don't have to worry about it. That's the
I
difference.
love it. You watch your back, bro.
You don't
I'm gonna go
have
smoke a cigarette.
to. You don't have to worry about it.
No,
But
that was just
guess what? But guess what?
We will call it as a sexual assessment. It's
But
called or no?
we do. We do have to worry about it.
Will it's called as sexual assessment or no?
I mean, who knows? But
How strong they will touch?
because the criteria is so gray, it's not really known to me or clear to me what could be considered assault or
Living Underscore donated $200. Holy crap. I've technically been essayed several times in my life
you
by
probably
women.
have.
I don't report any of them. Society doesn't notice casual women essaying. Also, bear versus black man, or black man versus white man.
I'm more scared of a white man.
I love white man.
Why would you be more scared of a white
So
man?
now, not only are you a sexist, but you're also racist.
Yeah, just instant by category. But you see what I mean when I say, like, it's not, when you ask the question to me, it's not altogether clear without very specific criteria as to what that could even mean, because I think that, yes, I could be brought up on charges for potentially brushing up against a woman, even without having any untoward anything towards her. I just happened to not think twice. I was just walking by, brushed up against her. Do I think it's within the realm of possibility? I do. And that's the part men always have to think about. That seems like women, as they think that men are hyper predatory, right? And now the distance has just, the gap has grown and grown and grown.
You know why it's growing?
Yeah, it's not your turn. Hang on. So this is why, right? Now that we have to think about that all the time, you see this distance and this gap widen. And it's specifically because if you look at it like the example I gave with the shoulder rubbing, right? You're like, yeah, no, that's really not SA. But if she said it was, you're like, I wouldn't tell her no. And so that's why it's not altogether clear to me. It really
Also,
isn't.
we had a girl on the show. I think you were on this panel, Andrew.
Well, I had a girl on the show take off her, clothes
Well,
and like to assault me with her. Yeah. So
Well,
whatever.
That's not what I was going to talk about. But there was a girl who was. We were having this conversation, and she said there was a study done here at the local university, and that it included catcalling that fell within the purview of SA.
Yeah, I was on that show, I think.
Or were you on that show?
Yeah.
So I find these studies that they do, it includes all sorts of things, all the way from benign or mild harassment, all the way to like forcible violent rape. And I find like encapsulating all of those things into this sort of nebulous term SA is not particularly helpful.
It inflates the numbers.
I agree. I'm not
On
disagreeing with you.
purpose.
on
Right,
that.
but like when we're having this conversation, and it's I suppose some sort of framing where you're saying like the listener is going to interpret over 50% of women are at like full blown forcibly in the they're walking down a staircase somewhere, some random man just starts beating them up and like rapes them.
Well, that's not what I said.
Okay. Well, I'm just curious, and I don't know if this is a bit inappropriate of a question, but I think y'all were like, you were saying like, I bet every single woman here at this table has been essayed.
I didn't say that.
You said you were though, right?
Right.
Okay. So, I'm just curious. I'm not going to ask the details. Who here has been essayed? Okay. Wait, sorry. Just show of hands again. Oh, you're wondering.
How
Oh my
many
God.
times?
This is. Hold on. No, that's crazy.
Well, no.
bro.
Here's the thing: you can't use that as an argument because a lot of women feel not validated in what it is.
That's right. They feel.
Wait, I do have a
Feel.
follow-up
Oh, they
question.
feel.
here.
It's not
I
proven.
do
If
have
you
a follow-up
feel-
question.
Some of them
Hold
feel
on.
not-
Allow me to
She
do the
said
follow-up
some of
question
them
first.
feel
Stop. Okay. Those of you who raised your hand, did you go to the police?
No, couldn't.
No. Did you? Yes, you went to the police?
Does that mean it didn't
Wait,
happen?
hold on.
Is
Is this
your
the guy
argument?
who the choking thing?
There's a separate incident.
Okay. And then did you go to the police? Okay. That was it. That was my question.
And so you're saying because we didn't go to the police?
No, I'm not saying anything. I don't know what happened
What
or
is
what
that
didn't.
proving?
Well,
I
so
just-
A lot of men don't go to
And did you go to the
yeah.
police?
So I'll tell you the term, right? No, they would laugh me out of the building. Right? They'd laugh me out of the building, even though it was clear on video.
So they
They
don't
would
take
laugh
men
me.
seriously.
They would laugh me out of the building. It's not even an option for us. But the thing is like,
Right.
so to kind of dive into this, all Brian's trying to say is like, if you have this kind of hyperinflated number, which would include things like catcalling or things which clearly are not
should be
sexual
separate.
assault, right? These should be in kind of totally different categories, and the reason they're put into the same is to inflate the number, thus making men look far more predatory than they actually are. So if that is the case, then, and you can even see like kind of with your rah feminism that pops out really
I
quick.
would say I have a rah.
Well, you did, and I'll explain where I saw it. I'll explain the exact moment that I saw the rah feminism. It was when when I said, yes, I feel, and you would, well, you're going to invalidate? Well, yeah, and here's why. You have to invalidate feelings for proof and evidence with clear criteria, because otherwise, how do we get the actual number, right? You could like, I couldn't just say, do you feel like you were S8?
Right. I mean, then in court it wouldn't hold up. But
Well,
I
it's
don't
not
think
just
that means
in
you
court.
should look someone in the face and say, well, then it didn't happen.
But it can't really hold up external to that either, because you're a number who would never make it into the stats absent court, right? Because you never went to court. So then, but you would be counted in this number. So how would we prove that? How could we falsify that other than
You can't.
You can't, right? You can't. So this is why when people say believe all women, it sounds to me like fucking
I don't think
absurd.
that's true. No, I disagree.
Yeah,
with
it
that
sounds to
statement.
me
You
like
can't.
total
Right.
absurdity, because it's like by your kind of your own metrics, you invalidate the very thing that we're supposed to believe.
Well, then do you not feel that there's a discrepancy between in the categories of what SA is, you know, you even said like shoulder rubbing. So do you not think there's like a kind of an equal number of the people who are counted in that statistic who weren't actually, or, you know, it wasn't as intense or something that we wouldn't consider SA compared
Yeah.
to the number of women who aren't actually counted in that statistic?
Yeah, so this is a really difficult question because we're talking about soft sciences. Science is only as effective as you
Right.
have controls.
Right.
And that's why hard science works really well and why the replication crisis affects soft sciences so badly. And so without great controls, which means great criteria, we're just speculating ultimately, right? And so that's why when I hear kind of these tortured numbers thrown out of, most men could be predatory or most women have experienced SA and this and that, it seems to me like that's not very clear and that the controls are not very good and that we're mostly going off of self-reports, not
Right.
court reports.
Right.
And so, yeah, I'm just not willing to kind of concede that that's true, right?
Okay.
And I mean, you seem reasonable. I don't even think you would, right? If you find out that is indeed the case, wouldn't you kind of have to like readjust your positioning and thought process around it?
Can you or specify, restate your question?
Yeah. So like if you found out that, wait, there's really soft controls here and we can't really know, we don't really know the answer to these questions.
Maybe then I would reconsider. Yeah.
That's all I'm asking you to do.
yeah.
Is just like reconsider possible the opposite possibility that there's perhaps been a lot of brainwashing designed specifically to be divisive, to make men look.
Why do you think they would want to make men look worse?
Well, because I think that a lot of these control studies are done by very progressive and very feminist operated universities. And I think that they're not trying to solve for a real hard scientific answer, but rather they're trying to only get at the heart of kind of the ideology that they're trying to promote. And so they'll make the data fit the ideology rather than moving the ideology around the data.
Okay.
We can believe on it.
What's that?
We can believe on it. Yeah, it sounds realistically.
I don't want to quite lay off quite yet. You said something about white men. What was the statement there? You said you would.
She's scared of the white dudes more.
You said you'd be
I
more scared
think
of white guys than
if
black
I
guys.
were given two random men, one was black and one was white, and I'm not saying that.
Say it.
Okay, I don't think you can be racist towards a white person. I will say that.
Oh boy. Okay. But so you would prefer what?
A black man over a white man.
To be
Like in the same room with,
In the
to
same
trust,
room
to
with.
be in the forest. Oh, you're agreeing with me?
Yeah.
Okay, I thought you were going to disagree. I was
Oh, no,
I
I'm
was getting scared.
agree, of course.
Okay. Wait. So hold on.
Because they harmless.
Here, let's explore the.
Like it's a harmless.
Hold on.
Well, I don't think anyone's harmless.
Why it's more dangerous? Yeah, of course. All the
Wait. Can I ask you a
psychos
question?
also
A
kill
couple
them,
things.
so
Okay. So if we were to.
Scared.
If someone was to say, I would feel more comfortable in a room with a white person over a black person, would that be a racist statement?
Unfortunately.
Yes. You can't use the argument though about because there's a whole history behind that.
Yeah. So
Wait,
what?
What do you mean?
I mean, so what?
Well, let's assume.
I mean, the white man has always been the oppressor, regardless.
boy.
Sure. Well, I'm just gonna grant
I
it.
want to have this conversation.
Like, I'm literally just gonna grant it. In fact, we'll just pretend that that black men and women were freed only yesterday, 24 hours ago. Okay, they've only had 24 hours they've had their freedom. Okay, how would this statement in any way make sense to say, I would feel more comfortable in a room with a black man versus a white man, or a white man versus a black man? How is that not a preconceived notion still based around race?
Can you condense that question again?
How is it not a preconceived notion still based around race to say I would feel more comfortable around this racial group than this one? How's that not a
I think it's a racial notion, but I just think because my belief that you can't be racist against a white person.
Yeah, I know that
then
that's
it
your
leads
belief.
to-
But what is it founded on? I just granted that it was just yesterday. It just
founded
this
on
only happened yesterday.
I mean, that makes it even more valid. I think.
Sure. But what's the validity, though, of saying I have a preconceived notion about a racial group, and so therefore, based on the preconceived hang on, let me finish the question first.
Yes,
Based on the preconceived notion of this racial group, I select this one because I think that I'll be safer around them. But if you flip it and say, okay, but I agree with that. Just for me, it's whites. In what world would that not be racial on both ends or racist on both ends?
Maybe it is a little.
Prejudice, is that?
Maybe, but
Wait.
I don't think.
Hold on. Let me. We'll pursue this,
I
but really quick,
just think
really
power
quick.
Power
Hold on.
dynamics have a
Hold
lot
on.
to do with it.
Hold on, really quick though, really quick. Okay, let's remove the term racism from this, and let's talk about what you find objectionable. So, do you think if somebody would rather be in a room alone with a black person over a white person, is this an objectionable position to hold? Which is, it's your position, by the way. Is it objectionable?
Is what objectionable?
What is mean
Okay, I'm sorry.
Hold
It's
on.
a lot to. I mean, it's like
I
you're talking
just
pretty
repeat-
fast. I'm
okay.
starting
You're not
to,
that smart
lose
like
focus
you
a little
guys.
Okay,
bit.
so do you find it objectionable for somebody, and this is your position, for somebody to say, I would rather be in a room alone with a black person over a white person? Objectionable?
Yes. Wait, objectionable. I'm sorry.
So you object to your own position?
What does mean objectionable?
No.
I feel like
Hold
I've been on the spotlight for a bit.
Don't weasel your way out of this one,
Do you
okay?
think it's problematic, that position?
What position?
Just
Bro.
what your position?
I'm sorry. I'm
where you
losing
said
focus, and it's hard for me to stay on
Yeah,
topic.
I
I
understand.
feel like I've been on the spotlight for a bit now, and I just feel
Well,
like we can move on for a second.
we're exploring your worldview. So, okay, I'll repeat the question. I'll try to make it as simple as possible. Okay, so you said you would feel more comfortable with a black man over a white man.
I did say that.
You
yes.
said that, okay. And you don't think that statement is objectionable, correct?
No, I think it is a little bit.
Okay. But then do you think it's more objectionable to say, I would rather be with a white person over a black person? Is that a more objectionable position?
If I ask you to repeat the question, you're just gonna roll your eyes, and I'm telling you, I've told you
Just like
4
that.
times already. I need to we can go back to me, but I just need like a break because I can't keep focusing. I feel like my energy, my focus has been sustained, and I need to take a break. So please respect that.
Do you want a Red Bull or something? Or an energy drink? You can take a little breather if you need. Is that?
I just want to say, I'm not really sure why
Yawn.
people.
Oh, wait. Wait, are you leaving?
No, she's okay. Don't.
You can take a break if you want. That's fine. If you need a little breather on, that's fine.
Wait, what happened?
All good. Don't pay attention.
You can
Is
be
that
racist towards anybody.
Is that
It's
cognitive
not fair to
dissonance?
say
Is
that.
What
That's
happened there?
what that looks like. It's very painful. So
Well,
cognitive dissonance is always very painful for people, and that's what happens. They get very emotional. And they even men.
Physical response?
Even men, it becomes a very physical response when their worldview collides with reality.
Well, then why we scare of the white dudes more than the black dudes? It's
Wait,
because
okay,
of
don't-
our experience.
All right.
I don't even know why race is in the question, though. Why does it matter what the ethnicity is?
Well-
If your whole point is that what she was saying was that she thinks that she would take the bear over a man. If you feel that way, why is race even an issue? She just said she'd rather choose a bear over a man in general.
Because of her experience, do you understand?
All right,
Because
let's
of
not
her
talk about her
experience.
here, guys. Let's not
Do you
talk
guys
about her.
understand it or no?
Stop. Let's not talk about her while she's gone. I'm going to read a couple chats. We have Techno Trooper. How does the trend of non-college educated men leaving the workforce combined with declining college enrollment impact their dating desirability, and what new values might become more important?
Why am I supposed to know that?
How does the trend of non-college educated men leaving the workforce combined with declining college enrollment impact their
It means that
dating?
men are going into trades and they're not going to college, and women still are. So how's that going to impact dating going forward?
I'm not sure.
It's like a question about hypergamy. I think guys going into trades.
I don't
and
know if
women
the girls
becoming
are gonna be able to
college
answer this.
educated.
Yeah.
Wait, but
You got to
I-
make them more palatable. Yeah, make them more
digestible.
palatable. Yep.
I guess I could try to reframe it like, would you prefer to date a guy who has a college degree?
it doesn't matter.
Prefer a guy who has a college degree
I like
or in
intellect,
college?
but-
Okay.
Just to be cool. Yeah, I like knowledge, but I don't think like a college education is required.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Okay.
Trade jobs are just as good.
All right,
too.
we have who cares? A bear is an animal with animal instincts, by the way. You will be mauled by the bear, just like Leonardo DiCaprio in The Revenant. Man's instinct is survival, aka find shelter. Who cares? Thank you very much. Appreciate the message. We have what's going on with you, bro? Get this chick a fucking energy drink too. What the fuck?
Because you don't speak about serious topics. Let's open some
my
serious
God,
topics.
okay. Oh, you want to get back to the gang bang? Fucking
Yeah.
double penetration? What the fuck? Okay.
No.
I always take
Hold on.
women seriously who have anal slut written on their arm every
She
time.
wants to talk about the serious topics.
That's serious topics.
Serious anal
Stop to mocking me. I'm rarely saying about serious topics, okay? You
All
did
right, let
on
me
mocking.
read. Okay,
Yeah, I
all
see.
right. Why don't you stay chipper and whatever? Okay. If you were essayed and did not report, while you aren't at fault for it done to you, you do share fault if he hurts another woman. You should have to look her in the eyes and say you were a coward. All right, Peacecraft, there you have it. Thank you for the message. And then over here, we have, wait, did I send a private chat? Let's see.
You even treat me like a whore just because of my tattoo, and you don't
Treat
even.
you how you act.
God,
you
we're-
don't even.
Bro, you're
oh
on
my God.
fucking
That's
camera.
why we scared
You're on
about
fucking
the white
camera. You're the one
guys.
being disrespectful on camera, like, oh, I'm so fucking bored. Stop talking about how we're treating you. You're fucking not conducting yourself properly. Be chipper.
I
Relax.
don't say that I'm perfect, bro.
Oh, okay. Call me bro. All right. Bro, look.
I don't claim to be the perfect, okay? I know I'm a bad.
Sorry that you didn't get attention while we were talking to her for 10 minutes. But yeah, you're not conducting yourself. You're
I
not.
was not
you're
taking
you're accusing us of not being
attention.
respectful
What?
towards you, and you're literally like saying.
You say I can't have serious topics because of my anal slut tattoo. That's what he just said.
And you're looking
Yeah, that
bored
what
as
you
fuck.
think?
You're looking
Okay.
bored as fuck. He made a joke. Relax.
I
Oh
mean,
my
you
God.
take me by my physical appearance and by my past. Maybe
I
that's
respect
why
you
we're
more
scared of
because
the
of
white
your anal
dudes.
slut tattoo. How about that?
You're bold.
I respect you more.
Because what?
Can I add input on the last comment?
Which comment?
The one that we're
I have, hold on, let me just read. Pen maker, Andrew, it's literally impossible to source baby seal remains. I checked. It's more legal than sourcing human remains. You needs to choose a different material for your pen. Also, Brian, I admonish you for neglecting your fine writing instrument for that plasticist. Oh, I think this is the guy that hooked
Okay,
us
pen
up
maker,
with the
pen
pens.
maker, pen
Thank you,
maker.
man. Appreciate it.
I'm going to
Thank
let
for the
you
super.
pick the material, right? Whatever you think fits the personality, right? I'll use it on the Crucible, I promise.